here. Oh yeah. One second. Okay, you should be good now. Alright, sorry everybody. I know I'm like breathing like I just ran a mile a minute. There was an important thing I had to get done before stream, and I sort of misunderstood the parameters a little bit. So I had to very frantically text a couple of people and ask them to help me out with the thing. But it's resolved for now. Fingers crossed that things come together. In the meantime, I'm just taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out, and we made it. Whether or not it goes anywhere, we'll have to see, but the thing is done at least. So, with that said, it's Friday. Happy Friday. I hope the day was restful and or productive for y'all. I would say it was for me. So, the reason why I'm like an hour late is because I was basically dealing with that thing. Nothing bad, but relatively time sensitive, and it kind of wound up being a little bit closer to the wire than I would have liked. It's on me as far as like why it was that close to the wire, but you know. And I can admit that. I knew I was missing something. So, let's talk a little bit of Turkey about why I had to miss stream on Wednesday for people who don't already know. So, if you don't follow me on Blue Sky, you probably don't know why. But basically, and you can sort of see her, or see it lying right back over here. So for people who didn't know, basically, I had a 2-computer streaming setup, right? The older of my computers, the High-Nu, used to be the one that would actually run OBS and things like that, while I would then run OBS itself off of the High-Nu, and then play the games and stuff on the Aerial, which is like my newer workhorse computer that sort of meant more for like this kind of stuff, right? But either the motherboard died or something. I don't know what happened, and it was a thing where it's like, I could probably figure it out, but it's too much troubleshooting to bother. And if it's something that is more involved, then you need to like do something with the motherboard or the CPU, or if it was something like that, I would have not been able to cover that. I don't have the money to buy stuff. So I just said to myself, I'm going to try to get the hard drives out of the High-Nu, and then I'm going to put them both into Aerial and see how that goes. And it worked out fine. I have access to all of the data from High-Nu's hard drives with Aerial now. So I'm not, right now the plan is basically, I'm probably going to keep the power supply and some of the other things that are relevant. But my guess is that if something has gone wrong with either the motherboard or the CPU for the High-Nu, that basically means that the motherboard and the CPU are basically no good at this point. I'm keeping um, the high news actual case, and probably what I will do, if anything, is once I get settled into a new job and I have enough like money built back up that I can like actively afford to like buy computer parts and stuff again, the plan will probably be that I probably replace all of the relevant things in High News old shell, and then we go from there. Let me go make a go live post on Blue Sky right now before I forget, because with the thing that I was doing right beforehand, like the application I was trying to get in, I was just like, okay. Second. Why do I not get embeds, please? Thank you. Okay, there we go. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna just jump straight into like doing patch notes and stuff. I just need to go grab the patch notes so that I can like actually put them on screen when we need them. Okay. So basically, because I got the hard drives straight out of the Hainu and put them into Arial, the long and short of it is basically that everything pretty much does what it's supposed to. I just may have a little bit of a time kind of adjusting to like actually um, getting things to do exactly what they used to from before. Um, Mostly not because of anything bad, but just because, like, for example, over here I have to like redo where we're getting our window capture for like our game capture and stuff from, and I have to figure out where that's coming from. Um, right, not this one. We're not gonna get rid of that, but we do have to just like Okay. Huh. That's an unexpected benefit. I just realized that now y'all cannot see, like I can actually do this in windowed mode now, and like I don't have to worry about y'all seeing other stuff. This actually is a little easier in some aspects. But okay. We're gonna go into training mode. We're gonna talk about the balance changes. I'm gonna go over the specifics for 2 characters in particular. I do not have like hard frame data numbers for certain changes and things like that, so I'm mostly going to be approaching it from the perspective of this is kind of what this change means in terms of XYZ. We're going to do it for Sin and for Elfelt, and that's pretty much it. I will at least talk about the universal changes that also happened, because those do matter. So, basically, here's the deal. So, generally speaking, right, let's talk about a couple of things, right? We've raised defense across the board and increased damage for specific moves. There's still opportunities to deal huge damage in the right situations, but they are more limited. This change keeps satisfying heavy damage the game is known for while increasing the overall number of interactions throughout a match. About 6p. We have established a standard recovery for this move and increased recovery for characters who previously recovered faster, making it more dangerous to whiff. This makes it easier to react in a situation with the opponent with 6p when using it as a preemptive counter move. Some characters have also received adjustments to the active frames and hurt box. So, generally the way that Guilty Gear Strive calculates damage, this is the way that it works. A character, like every character has a flat health amount that is the same. What changes how much damage a character takes are 2 things: their defense modifier and their guts rating. When your defense modifier, basically your defense modifier is what your damage, the damage that you take is multiplied by when you take it. So, the higher your defense modifier is, the more damage you take. It's like the damage boost, right? The lower your defense modifier, the higher your defense is, because that's basically consider it like the incoming damage is multiplied by that number in order to affect, right, your how much damage you take. So, right, there's that, and then characters have a guts rating. When you are below 70% health, right, your guts rating, the higher your guts rating is, the more your damage is reduced as you lose health, right? So basically, if a character has a high defense modifier and a low guts value, they eat shit. It's really, really bad. So, case in point, right? Let's look at, for example, Asuka. Asuka, our Kreutz, is known in this game for basically, if you get rid of his barrier that is up, he takes absurd amounts of damage and dies very quickly, right? How absurd. When Asuka has his barrier up, so keep in mind, in both situations, his guts value is 0, right? In both situations, his guts value is 0. So he basically has effectively no additional scaling when he is low on health, functionally speaking. His defense modifier when he has his barrier up is 0.75. So any damage that he takes when his barrier is up is like reduced by 25%, right? No matter where he is in the guts, no matter where he is in his health bar, that 25% damage reduction is applied. And then you worry about the gut stuff. But in his case, his guts rating is like 0. So he basically doesn't have that. When his barrier is down, his defense modifier literally doubles. So he takes 50% more damage, right? Because the multiplier is up to 1.5 instead of 0.75. So he takes 50% more damage from attacks when his barrier is down. So that's to kind of just like put it into perspective in terms of like, right, how does this work, right? If you look at Chip, right, if you leave out Asuka, Chip has the highest defense modifier of the entire cast, but he also has a relatively high guts rating. So while Chip is relatively fragile, so like that, this is sort of like the offset, right? Chip is a little bit more durable than Milia, but it's not super durable, right? If you look at Milia, right, her defense modifier is slightly lower, but her guts rating is worse, which basically means that she gets less damage reduction as her health bar goes down. So that's kind of how it evens out, right? So, like, leaving out Asuka, for example, Potemkin, if you notice, has like a 0.87, and his guts rating is 4. And that's kind of like how it evens out. Giovanna does have, I think, unless they removed it, Giovanna does get extra scaling, and I think defense modifier as she holds meter, but I don't know if they've changed the numbers behind that. I'd have to go look at the wiki, because they go data mine the numbers out. So anyway, so basically, generally what has happened is that these are the numbers as they stand now, after the changes that have been made. So basically what has been said is that defense modifiers, generally speaking, have gone up for every member of the cast. Generally. One of the major... yeah. There it is. So, mostly, while the... for most characters, while the damage modifiers... the defense modifiers have gone down, so they take less damage for a lot of characters, but guts ratings have also been adjusted, which means that they, again, guts kicks in after you lose 30% of your health. The higher your guts value, the more your damage scales down as you get further down in the health bar. So basically, you can consider your guts value as a measure of like, how long do you stay in the fight when you are losing health? So, let's talk about Sin's changes, right? Sin is a mixed bag, kind of. I think he came out okay, but there are still a couple of things to sort of consider in him, right? What do I mean by that? As the overview says, right, Sin is a character who uses his stamina to go on the offense. Fast recovery rate meant that it was rarely ever exhausted. The adjustments that they had made slowed down his stamina recovery rate and extend the cooldown time. But in exchange, his moves that cost stamina are more powerful. It is simpler for him to get into highly damaging combos, but changes to far standing slash and crouching slash give him a harder time when he is lower on stamina. Gazelle Step can now be used individually rather than only as a follow-up to special moves, right? It's an exceptionally powerful tool to close distance from far standing slash range, but the increased recovery of Gazelle Step, hey Vinka, how you doing, means that Sin has to surprise the opponent or risk getting countered. And follow-ups from special moves have been adjusted to have powerful hit and block effects. New lighting, sorta. I'm using the light that's behind me now because, to make a long story short, my streaming computer, you can see it over my shoulder over this way. The computer that I used to actually use OBS for running kind of went kaput, and that's why I had my ring light. And I haven't moved my ring light yet to sort of accommodate the new setup that I have to like deal with. So I'm streaming from the computer that used to just exclusively be the source of the game. But this computer is also, it is newer and has newer parts and performs better than the older one. So, it kind of evens out. So yeah. But we're here. We managed to make it. That's the important part. So, right. So the thing with Sin in particular, right? So, Sin, the major buff for Sin is that physically he's a lot tougher now because they decreased his defense modifier, right? So he takes less damage and his guts rating has been increased, which means that as his health gets lower, additional damage reduction is also applied on top of that so that his life bar doesn't go down as quickly as he loses health, right? So, here are the things that we basically need to look at. We've got to move this over here. And I'm gonna try to make sure that we can like see this and everything is good, right? So 6p increased recovery. So this move, I whip it, I get hit more easily. I don't know exactly how much it's slower by. I'd have to go look at the wiki to see if people have figured that out yet. I don't know if they have. Can't be asked. This recovers slower. That's the important thing. Far standing slash also recovers slower. Crouching slash has increased startup, so it takes longer for this button to come out. And the hitbox and hurtbox have been expanded toward the center of the attack. I'm not 100% sure what that means, but I want to guess that means that they probably extended its reach. I think, because this is about where it was hitting from anyway. So they probably extended the reach, but they've also made sure that it's easier to tag also, right? The big one, stamina. Increased cooldown time and standardized recovery regardless of... Hold on a second. I'm going to do a thing on my... I'm going to do a thing on my stream deck real quick so that we can have an easier time like actually seeing this. OBS Studio, source, yeah, let's put a source visibility here. This one. Okay. So let me try this real quick. Okay, cool. So that does work. Okay. So, big one. Stamina. Right here. Oh wait, y'all can't see the mouse. I'm gonna do a thing real quick. Catch the cursor. I don't know if y'all can like see the mouse. Okay, you can. So, stamina, right here. Increased cooldown time, standardized recovery speed regardless of current stamina. What does that mean? Let's talk about it. So, it used to be, right? So, Sin's stamina meter is that orange bar above his tension bar in the lower left, right? So it used to be that... Hang on. Right? Depending on how much stamina you have spent, that would affect the recovery speed, how fast the stamina bar fills up, right? So the increased cooldown time means that it takes longer. It takes longer for the stamina gauge to start rebuilding, and now, right, if this was before the patch, that bar in the middle would have filled up faster than the one at the end. The way that it used to work, and this is the offset that they were trying to do initially, because Sin and Guilty Gear XR, the game before this one, Basically, he would start off the match with 10,000 calories in his stamina gauge, and using any special move would drain 1,000. He could do as many follow-ups as he wanted from his special moves about certain things, but each time would eat up more calories until you have to stop and eat. In Guilty Gear Strive, they simplified that by saying your stamina meter is in 3 chunks, and basically anytime you can only do follow-ups from individual special moves. Right? Like if this was XR, for example, someone would have been able to do like Hawk Baker into Beak Driver, whatever, right? But now he can only do like singles, right? He can only do basically he can basically only do follow-ups one time and only one specific follow-up from each of his special moves. That's the way that it works, right? In Strive, before this Season 4 patch that just dropped yesterday, if Sin has no stamina, his first stamina gauge recovers really fast, the second one recovers kind of fast, and the third one recovers kind of slow. That is not the case anymore. Now, no matter how much stamina you spend, not only do you have to wait longer for the stamina to start regenerating, no matter how much stamina you have spent, it all regenerates at the same speed. That's the major change, right? Like, that's the thing that you kind of have to deal with now. This is a nerf. However, given the context of the other changes in his kit, it makes sense that they did it like this. Right? So, I'll go over why in a minute. But basically speaking, the stamina changes are a nerf. His 6P, far standing slash, and crouching slash. Well, I don't know about the collision box, but the crouching slash might be a rework more than a nerf. Far standing slash, nerfed. His 6P, nerfed. Because they basically both have increased recovery. That's a net nerf to those moves. You got a buff, though, in terms of his defense rating, because generally with his modifier being decreased and his guts rating going up, he can take more damage as he like loses more health. As in he'll survive longer because the incoming damage is less, is what I mean. So Beak Driver. Beak Driver follow-up. So if you do heavy slash during Beak Driver, this is what they're talking about. So this move basically got reworked. Here's the thing, right? While this does have more recovery now, and you do have to manage the fact that, right, stamina takes up more, right? It knocks back farther, so Sin's corner carry is a lot stronger from it. If the opponent blocks it, they get hit with a guard crush, which didn't used to happen before. Increased horizontal movement speed means that, like, it goes faster. Adjusted to maintain momentum on cancel. So, hang on. Not like that. Not with like a roaming cancel. I'm not really sure what that one means where it says adjust to maintain momentum on cancel. Not sure. Don't want to tell lies. Increased horizontal movement speed, though, means that it moves faster. Blowback adjustment. Increased horizontal blowback. So it doesn't knock the opponent, like the follow-up doesn't knock opponents back as far, but they tumble for long, right? And because the tumble duration is longer, this means that you can if I can do this correctly. There we go. So basically, because the tumble distance is longer, it means that you can do stuff like what I just did a lot more easily, because the opponent will be tumbling still while you do that. Hawkbaker. The start of the attack can no longer be canceled with the overdrives. Basically a nerf. But they're basically just trying to make it, and they've been doing this for a while anyway, where if you manage to get like a lucky reversal Hawkbaker, that you don't get to convert that into like 6 billion points of damage without like spending a resource, right? You have to... Like, you can't Roman cancel Hawkbaker on hit anymore anyway. So it's one of those things where it's like, alright, you want to get a conversion off a Hawkbaker reversal? Right? You can't. It is literally just a get off me tool. Is basically all that is. Now, the main thing though is that the recovery of the Hawkbaker follow-up has been reduced. So this recovers faster. It has increased damage and increased horizontal movement speed. Now, here is the major thing that has changed with Hawkbaker. If you do Hawkbaker raw, then this is the knockout, right? However, if you do it in a combo, notice the difference, right? The launch is more vertical and not as horizontal. So, like it said specifically, blowback now sends opponent directly above. When the first hit of the combo, you can't see the rest of it, but it says is not Hawkbaker. So basically, any situation, right? So yeah, basically, right, Hawkbaker. Right? Even if you don't have meter, you can now do these kinds of follow-ups, right? Again, the main catch to that, though, is that you cannot use Hawkbaker as, like, the first hit of the combo. It doesn't work like that. If you want to be able to do that kind of stuff, you have to do, like, stuff like this. Or even, like, that, right? And the launch is high enough that you can, like, without having to spend stamina, which is nice, right? At least not more stamina anyway, right? You can get RTF. Very useful, right? Next change. Hoof Stomp follow-up. The Hoof Stomp follow-up has increased recovery, so it's probably not as safe as it used to be anymore. So Hoof Stomp, to be clear, is this move. So the follow-up is this. So the follow-up has more recovery. On hit, the knockback is decreased. It also has a guard crush effect when they're blocked. Now, Hoof Stomp follow-up no longer tumbles, but it ground bounces instead. Why does this matter? So, basically, in the corner, this is the main thing, right? With Hoof Stomp, unfortunately, right, you do not recover quickly enough from Hoof Stomp in most circumstances to be able to, like, and the ground bounce is not that high, right? What this is mostly useful for is stuff like this. If I can do this correctly. So yeah, you can, for example, do this, right? This is mostly what it's useful for. So that's what the ground bounce is for. So you really need 2 blocks of stamina to make this work, though. Right? But that's basically why they made that change. This changes one of Sin's roots, and I'll show you what I mean by that a little later. But that's what that change does, basically, right? Now, Elk Punch follow-up. So that second punch where I like blast them up and high, right? Increased recovery, increased damage, decreased knockback. Oh, sorry, I forgot to actually remove that. My bad. So yeah, Elk Hunt follow. Increased recovery, increased damage, decreased knockback, increased guard crush duration. Changed damage state and increased horizontal blowback and launch height, right? What does this mean? So, that's possible now. Because while the horizontal blowback is farther, the launch height is higher. So basically speaking, right? While the opponent is knocked back farther by the Elk Hunt follow-up, because the launch time is higher, if you have enough meter for a Gazelle Step, you can extend it the way I just did, and then bam, easy money, right? Now, major thing with Gazelle Step, reworked a little bit. Gazelle Step can now be done individually. Before, you could only do Gazelle Step like this, or like this, right? But with the changes to Gazelle Step, you can now do it by itself, right? Which also means that now you can special cancel into Gazelle Step from moves that allow you to special, from like normals that allow you to special cancel. You can special cancel into Gazelle Step. That's the thing you can do now. However, this has come with one major change to the way that it works. The recovery of Gazelle Step, regardless of whether you do it standalone or during special moves, has been increased. How does this affect Sin? That combo, that used to combo. It no longer does. Because Sin recovers too slow to catch the opponent with that. So it doesn't work anymore. Right? So basically, one of the major things that they killed with Sin is his ability to just like get, like, oh lol, did I get you with like a launch and then like hoof stomp? Cool, eat shit. So yeah, like as y'all can see, right? Basically the only way to like actually get anything close to those old ones is like stuff like that, sort of. And it's really tight and it's doable, but it's like, why do that? Right? Well, not why do that, because like there are reasons why you would want to. I wonder, you could probably do yeah, you don't get like the follow-up for Hawkbaker won't hit because you're gonna drop out of it, right? So basically the main reason basically the main thing that they have done here is that they've made it harder for Sin to kind of just like do unga bunga wild boy shit, because his stamina regenerates slower and he can't get as easy pickups off of launching you, then doing like then doing hoof stomp, and then doing whatever, right? Those routes are probably not totally dead, but they're dead enough that it's like, why? Right? Gazelle Step's hurt box is smaller, which also helps. But like basically, let me finish going over the notes and I'll talk about it. RTL now expends stamina when performed as a cancel out of the startup of his follow-ups. So this is something important, right? Sin has always been able to do that. What I did there, where I did Beak Driver, and it looks like I super canceled into Ride the Lightning. This is important. Guilty Gear does not have super cancels on special moves. That's not a thing that happens in Guilty Gear, right? You cannot, it's not like Street Fighter where it's like you throw a fireball, right? If you're Ryu, you can't do like Hadouken into Shinku Hadouken. Sorry, let me phrase that. In Street Fighter, that is a thing that you can do. I'm sorry, I had that backwards. In Street Fighter, right, you can do a Hadouken and cancel it to Shinku Hadouken, right? Or if you're playing Ryu, you can do Shoryuken into Shin Shoryuken, right? It's a thing that works in Street Fighter, right? Guilty Gear doesn't have that. Which means that basically if you want to go from a special move into a super move, you need like a launch or something like that, right? Or in Sin's case, what you get instead is what we call Kara canceling, empty canceling, Gazelle Step. let me just do this real quick. FGC glossary. Right, so if you want more examples of what a Kara cancel is, there's some over there. But to explain it in brief, a Kara cancel happens when you cancel the startup of a move into something else. Sin's Gazelle Step, you're never going to see me do this with like standalone moves, but Sin's Gazelle Step can have its startup canceled into his overdrive super moves. So if you do Beak Driver, then Gazelle Step, and then do the input for the super quickly enough, you will cancel the Gazelle Step with his overdrive. The way that I commonly do this is by buffering the input a little bit. So I'll do 2-3-6 or quarter circle forward heavy slap for Beak Driver, right? I did that wrong. It's a little tricky to do correctly because you have to do it fast. There we go. So, I went kind of fast. This is a little hard to see it. I did quarter circle forward, Beak Driver, right? Then I did quarter circle forward and pressed dash macro. Because basically, if you put in a forward dash input, which includes the dash macro, Sin does Gazelle Step, right? So I do the input for Beak Driver, then I do the input for hang on. There we go. So the trick is basically if I do it quickly enough, and I'm not like mashing. Or in the case of like Ride the Lightning, right? What I do with Ride the Lightning is I do the Beak Driver, I roll back and press the dash button. So basically this is the distinct set of motions I'm doing. I'm doing Beak Driver, then this, then I'm doing Beak Driver, then Beak Driver, then this, basically. But I'm doing that quickly enough that the game registers it as Beak Driver. If I do it quickly enough, it goes Beak Driver, then Gazelle Step, then, oh, you cancel Gazelle Step into RTF. That's the thing I'm doing. Hang on, phone call. Alright, we're back, y'all. Yeah, I was just touching base with Moms. She called me. I just had to touch base with her about a couple things. So, alright, we're back. So, Gazelle Step was the last thing I talked about. Oh no, I was talking about Kara cancels. Right. So let me re-explain it for people who missed it. The Kara cancel thing and why this is relevant. So like I was saying, like I demonstrated just before I had to take that call, basically you can't do like Beat Driver directly into Tyrant Barrel in this game, right? It doesn't work like that. For Sin, the only way that he can do stuff like that is by doing Power Cancel like this. So what happens is he'll start doing the step for Gazelle Step and then cancel it into whatever super move, right? Now, this is the important part. Before the patch that came in yesterday, Sin could do that. He would need to have a stamina meter in stock, but it would not consume one. So if he had one stamina meter, did a card cancel into RTL or Tyrant Barrel, he needs a stamina meter, but it wouldn't have consumed one. Now, he needs a stamina meter, and it will consume it when he does it. But this is only out of special moves, because you have to spend the stamina meter to then do RTL, right? Before the Season 4 patch, I would have needed that stamina block, but it would not have been consumed. Now, if I do that, it gets consumed, right? However, the main trade-off is that while this is true of both... Hang on, I gotta see if I can do this correctly. There we go. This is true of both RTL and Tyrant Barrel now, but there are two things that have happened as a result of this. Because they now cost stamina, now that they have done the thing where it's like, no, if you Kara cancel into these, you're gonna use up the stamina block that you're holding in reserve to do it. The minimum damage for Sin's for the follow-up to Sin's RTL, where he just burns SS meter. And the minimum damage has been increased, right? So so if I want to do bop, 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 bop. Or if I wanted to do, for example, oh, that doesn't work anymore, right? Or at least it doesn't work unless I do. Oh. Okay, right. So basically, when you do RTL, if you press heavy slash, you don't get to do any more continuations of it anymore, right? But you basically burn the rest of your meter to do extra damage. The minimum damage on that explosion version of it has been increased. The minimum guaranteed damage has been increased. I don't know by how much. Don't know if it's that relevant, but the damage is increased a little bit. Or at least it's increased in some value. More notably, Pirate Barrel, this move, now just straight up does more damage than it used to. Pirate Barrel also has something called a clean hit property, where if you hit at the right point when you do it, it does a shit ton of damage. If you wait too late, it doesn't work. If you hit at the right spot, basically you can tell if you got the clean hit by how long the hit stop is when the second hit comes out. Like, that was not clean hit at all. But if you get a clean hit, it does a lot of damage. Basically, that's the thing. So, Sin in the overall, it's okay, right? The thing with Sin is that basically he is now set up in such a way that, minus the eating mechanics from Guilty Gear Xrd, they want you to have to manage his stamina more carefully, and they want to reduce the amount of like just really silly like scoop conversions that Sin used to be able to get off of just like random hits, where you would kind of just like eat shit if you managed to like get into a launch to do hoof stomp, to then do corner carry with RTL and catching you that way and all that other stuff, right? They wanted to sort of just like reduce a lot of that. So that's why they made, like they said in the patch notes, they wanted to make stamina and stamina management much more important, but without having to go back to like the way that it is in they didn't want to have to do it the way that it is in like Xrd, for example, right? Because in Xrd, he used to have to like, what's the damn eat command? Hang on. There we go. Like, Sin used to have to like actually eat food to regenerate his stamina meter in Xrd, and they obviously don't want to go back to that. So instead, they were just like, now your stamina regeneration takes longer to start, and no matter how much of it you spend, it will always take the same amount of time to recover. And it looks like they basically picked like either the second slowest or the slowest regeneration speed that Sin had prior to the patch, and they normalized that to be what the stamina fills across all of it. So the stamina thing is a nerf. The reason why they did that, and this is why I'm going over it like this because I think it's important to talk about, considering that all of Sin's other follow-ups, right? Like, Sin still does Sin damage, right? You just have to spend more stamina for it, and then that means that that stamina spend is more of an investment because it takes longer to come back. But, right, that's why they had to. If Sin had the same rules for his stamina regeneration now, if he had the same rules from before the patch, now, with everything else that he had, he'd be really, really strong. Like, really, really strong, I think. Because what would happen is, you'd have, like, all of these extensions, like, you'd have a bunch of extensions, like you'd have extensions like this shit. And, like, my stamina would be regenerating a good second or two, like a good half a second or so before it just started, right? If I really went all out and spent a bunch, I'd have at least 2 stamina back by the time, like maybe by the time Kai got up, I would have had maybe like a bar of stamina back or something before it. So they reduced his stamina regeneration and delayed the start of that regeneration specifically so that there's more weight behind choosing to like do extensions or otherwise like spend the meter to do stuff like this. Because otherwise, like, what's the point, right? And it's nice also because from my perspective, they've also made it so that they're really intent on saying if you use Hawkbaker as a wake-up reversal, you get people off you and that's it. But if you use it as a combo tool, like, look at that. Like, that may not be his optimal damage, but that's still pretty accessible, right? And you still get his old combo extensions with things like Gazelle Step, Close Slash. You just don't get them off of, like, stuff like regular ass Toe Stomp anymore. Right? And that's fair. Because the whole thing that they wanted to do was basically, like I said, they want you to have to make more of a decision about what it means when you spend stamina and how. So initially when I looked at the patch notes, I was like, oh no, Sin is cooked, I'm fucked. But no, I think he will be okay. It's just one of those things where now you really have to sit very carefully on top of your stamina management because it's not going to come back as fast as it used to. But the trade-off to that is that if people are like blocking you or doing whatever, right, they're going to feel that because now a lot of like Sin's, a lot of the stuff that Sin had going on in terms of like the way that that stuff worked damage-wise, they've upped the damage on some of that and they've upped the benefits of landing hits from them in ways that make it so that, like, right, if you spend the stamina, you basically have less difficult ways of keeping the pressure up and doing your follows and getting all that going, which is really good. So it's like split the difference. I thought that Sin got absolutely like murdered by the changes. No, I was wrong. It's just one of those things where you just have to commit more resources to doing the things with him that he used to do relatively easily, right? And that's fine. Elfelt didn't get purely buffs, but she got a bunch. So let's talk about it. Like everybody else, her defense modifier got decreased. Her guts value has not changed. Her 6p nerfed. Well, sort of. No, reworked, we'll say. It didn't get it. It's 50-50. Because two things happen. 6p has more active frames. So, in other words, the hitbox, the part of it that does damage, is on the screen for longer. But it does not recover as quickly. So if you whiff this, you get punished. Same thing like with Sin 6p, right? Her 6h, this does more damage now. I don't, not that it's a bad move, but I don't use it as much as I should for combo extensions because I never learned those combos with Elfelt yet. So it's good and it matters, but I don't use it yet, so that doesn't help me yet. Bomb Bomb Chocolat. So, Bomb Bomb Chocolat. It does not knock the opponent away as far when it hits. Increased launch height and decreased falling speed. I think this is in reference to the opponent. So, what this basically means that because they get launched higher, right, and they fall slower, it is easier to do. It's easier to like do stuff where you can like catch them with a normal and then do that, right? Now, major one. So, a major thing about the way that Elfelt works. She has a move called Here I Go, right? Which is this. With Here I Go, before the patch, these are the options that you had. So Here I Go is 214S. So quarter circle back, slash button. If you keep pressing slash, these are not combos, so you can jab somebody out of, like you can jab or like use 6P or whatever and jab somebody out of them, or use like a DP and get out, right? If you only use the slash follow-up, you can keep continuing basically as long as you want. You can always also chain back to the slash opener whenever you want, but it does not combo. But if you do like punch, punch, that ends it. Punch, kick, that ends it. Bop, punch, heavy slash, that ends it, right? Those are basically your options. Either, once you do Here I Go, either you keep doing this chain lollipop follow-up like this, or you transition over to that one, or whatever, right? And the main thing is that the only way to keep it going infinitely-ish is to go back the slash opener, which does not combo, and so you can be stuck out, right? However, what was added during this patch is the ability to dash cancel chain lollipop like this, or to dash cancel Here I Go like this, right? There are a couple of things that this does that are very important, right? I'll demonstrate in a little bit if I can get this right. Hang on. That's not right. So... It's expensive. I have to use my full tension gauge for that. That was not possible before the patch. The main reason why this works is because with Chain Lollipop, sorry, with Here I Go, rather, right? With Here I Go, the main thing that this causes is that, like, now you can do stuff like this, right? So if you hit somebody and they block the first hit of Here I Go, right? You could go for the overhead. You could go for the low. Or now, right, you could go for the shotgun to try to end it relatively safe, or you can throw. And now the throw part is new. Hang on. I think I can set this up so that we can also demonstrate another way that this works. Counterattack settings, after block, action 1. I need you to do Vapor Thrust. Then I need to make you block. Hold on. Counterattack settings. And we're going to do regular Vapor Thrust as well as RTO. Now we're going to do opponent status and all guard. So, right? Timing settings. Counter attack. They'll do it. And then status. There's a specific setup that I wanted to do, and I cannot quite remember it. Hi, Stubby. But basically speaking, the change to Here I Go. I can't replicate the exact setup that I saw, but basically speaking, the fact that now you have the ability to cancel basically the fact that you now have the ability to like cancel oh, that's what it is. I do need to keep that on. So do S Vapor Thrust. I just remembered how I can like reproduce it. H Vapor Thrust, then RTO, right? Okay, that's already safe enough. But basically, there's a setup that you can use. Oh yeah, is Dizzy out yet for this? She's been. She literally came out on the 31st. She came out yesterday. When the patch dropped, so did she. So yeah, she's been out since yesterday. So you saw probably both the announcement video and her mechanics video. So yeah, literally she's been out for like basically not a full 24 hours yet, but she's been out for like at least half a day already. Like the patch that came with Season 4 came with her. So I can't reproduce the thing that I saw, but basically speaking, now that you can do now that you can dash cancel Here I Go. Basically, now that you can, like... I did see the mechanics video. Is she as busted as looks? I don't know. I have not fought a Dizzy yet. We'll probably fight one tonight. I'm going to go a little bit later than usual because I started late. But I don't know. It's also literally the first day. So... I don't believe in, like, talking about whether or not something is busted until... Not even in the first week. Maybe, like, the first 2... Like, the first 2 weeks, I feel like, is, like, too premature anyway, right? But yeah, no, I don't know. So yeah, basically, the main thing was, like, because Here I Go can now be, like, dash canceled, right? Like, this is the stuff, right? This seemed like a lot of unblockable damage. Wings of Light takes 7 seconds to activate. Will eat Dizzy's meter like nobody's business, and she loses it if she gets hit. If that's what you're talking about, that's... I haven't experienced it, so I don't know for sure. I don't have Dizzy as DLC because I didn't buy the season pass yet. to me, it's conditional. Until we have like actual setups, I choose not to believe that it's going, oh, there's a lot of damage, so it's busted. It's like, nope, don't believe that. Not saying that it can't be, but it's literally not even the first day yet. So yeah, I don't know. So I'm not worrying about it or judging it till I've seen it in action and I see people like making stuff work with it. That's my general take on it. So because you can dash cancel Here I Go, right? If somebody blocks this and they're not like trying something else, right? You can dash cancel it, throw them. Right? So you can like now, in addition to having like a high or a low, you can also do high, dash, cancel, throw, right? If you manage, like I've been showing off before, if you manage to get a launch and then do it, if you have enough meter for a Roman cancel, they kind of eat shit because it's a blue Roman cancel. Blue Roman cancels, for context, if they make contact with the opponent. Blue Roman cancels basically have some of the longest like slowdown time if they make contact with the opponent. So the fact that like, let me do this correctly. If you can get the launch, if you can get the launch, go into the first hit of Here I Go. Do the first hit of Here I Go. Dash cancel it. Roman cancel it if you have the meter. You eat a damage penalty, but y'all saw the results. Much easier to confirm and work with, right? Aside from that, the shotgun ender of Nailed It does more damage. There is less. It says that they've decreased the launch height and they've decreased the horizontal blowback combo duration, which basically just means that the reason why they've done that is for this. So, like, because now, if you're close enough to the wall, it wall bounces. Right? The opponent will also no longer tech upon landing. That's the important part. Right? So, a couple things here. So even if you do it at mid-screen, right? The opponent no longer techs, right? So, because it's a hard knockdown, right? Because it's a hard knockdown, you get more time to approach afterward. Because they're not going to recover in time. Like that. So you notice how, like, versus here, right? China didn't get to recover. And that's really important. However, it's also added a wall bounce effect. So if you're close enough to the wall, and you have to be like really close, right? So it's not fast enough to do a lot. And I think it's like a spacing thing where you have to make sure that you're at just the right spacing to get a wall bounce without. I think probably you might be able to. Let's see. Wrong one. There we go. Right, so we do. That's not right. So because you get like an extra hit off of that, you can cancel that hit into shot. I'm debating if I can do Nah, recovers. It's not gonna work. Nah, it's still gonna work too. Yeah, so because of that ground hit, right, it is a soft recovery. But you can directly cancel into stuff, right? There are probably uses for that I just don't know because I don't know alpha like that. But there are ways in which that helps. Really, realistically, if you want to spend a bunch of meter, this is how it's really useful. If you're okay with spending meter. You need like 100 tension for this, but it's worth no. I think it's useful. You don't want to do it early. You want to. So the trick, right, is that you don't want to do it. Right? So you can do that. And for 50 meter, you get that. If you do it too early, you'll get a red Roman cancel, which you don't want. Like that, right? But yeah, if you get the purple Roman cancel in time because of the wall bounce, it gives you enough time and a cancel point so that you can do like that sort of stuff, right? So you can't do it early, because if you do it too early, you're going to get red Roman cancel. Like I said, expensive, but you can do this if you got like full meter and do that. And even if you don't have full meter, if you got 50, this is the most important change, or is it an important change? That super that I just did would have whiffed in that scenario beforehand. Now, however, Bomb Bomb in the air, which is that super move that I just did, is now a strike attack. So, it is no longer throw invulnerable. However, if you use it as a wall break attack, the bombs remain on, right? And any move that uses Elfelt's gun now detonates the Bombardier grenades. So, you still have to be relatively close to get it to actually hit, but it's a strike, right? So if you get... But you have to be good with the timing. Nope, too early. The There we go. That's what I wanted to do. So yeah. On top of the fact that basically literally, right, the push being what breaks the wall now, and that anything that uses Elfelt's gun detonates those bombs, really good. Very scary. Also, the last thing that got changed with Elfelt is that her Wild Assault is now a red Wild Assault, which basically means that, like, they've changed it so that it's more useful as, they changed it to be basically more useful as, like, a combo extender. So the long and short of it is basically Elfelt got buffed. Elfelt is a much stronger character now after the patch than she was before it. Y'all will see how much so eventually, yeah. Alright, so we have a little bit of time. So let's go find some player matches. This is the wrong one. I wanted to go online, actually. I want to play some Sin, I think. So we're gonna play some Sin and see how that goes. I am still not super pressed about trying to get into Celestial or anything. Like, it's too much effort, and it annoys me to think about it, so I'm not going to worry about that. Too tough right now, really. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna go do some fishing. It does not. Spark Joy is not worth doing in a game. Yeah. Hmm. Without Spark Joy, it's not worth doing in a game. Yeah, pretty much. I want to see if I can get. There's so many avatar items that even with guaranteed catches, I keep getting avatar items. Make it stop. Give me music, you bastards. I want music. It's literally all avatar items that come up as my guarantees because I haven't been fishing. So I just wanted to see if I could get like I wanted to see if I could just get like Sin's XR theme or something. I got Johnny's old theme though. God damn it.
Cool.
Fine, you bastards. Alright. Hold on. Hang on. What? Hang on, I saw your question, Stubby. I just have to... What does the... Basically, anytime that you get a fish, it means that the item that would have been a... Fish are basically like the indicator that you got a dupe in that pull. So what they do is that basically, if you get a fish, it indicates, oh yeah, this item would have been a duplicate of something you already have, so you get a fish instead. So basically, when you pull fish, it goes towards a pool of what your next guaranteed pull is going to be. And your next guaranteed pull, when you hit 10 fish, is always going to be something that you don't already have. That's the way that it works. Oh, Sin. I did have Sin's XR theme already. I just didn't realize it because they moved it down here because of when he came out. God damn it, you fucking assholes. So annoying. I'm like... Anyway, I already had Sin's XR theme. I'm so annoyed. I was like, I'm like, I don't have it. I should go get it. It's like, no, you already had it. It's just that they didn't put it with the other themes. Okay, we're just getting... Sometimes the RNG isn't that bullshit. Yeah. So it probably means that I probably fished it out when Sin came out, and then I completely forgot about the fact that they just put it in a weird spot. Disconnected. Ah, god damn it. Like, I could open up a room, but I don't feel like opening up a room is the point. Like, I just kind of want to get matches.
Welcome. Are you ready?
Well, alright, we're gonna find out. I also like how it's not like her in-game title is not, her in-game name is not just Dizzy anymore, it's explicitly Queen Dizzy. this off. Yeah, I messed up. Alright, let's see. Right, I can't do that as freely anymore. Yeah, see? Like, you saw that, right? Like, she started Wings of Light, I popped her in the jaw, didn't come out. So, that's why I'm like, not that it's like, oh, it's useless, but like, I'm legitimately not putting stock in it as like anything more than like memes until people start demonstrating that they have ways of like setting it up. That's fair. I didn't want to get hit by bite. So. Damn. Nope. Yep. And that's the thing, right? Yeah. Yeah, see? Like, I'm not... I get though. Yeah, like, I'm literally not worried about Wings of Light, because... Not that people won't have setups for it, or won't figure out ways to set it up, but, like, the fact that you have, like... It's not that you can't defend or anything while you're using it, but, like... I did not take one. Yeah, so because Beak Driver follow-up now has like a guard break property, Sin's ability to pressure by using Beak Driver follow-up, even though it has like more recovery and things like that, Sin's ability to sort of like apply pressure using Beak Driver follow-up now is that's real shit. You remember how I was saying to y'all earlier that it's like, yeah, the reason why Sin's stamina recovery is worse now is because they couldn't give him all the attributes that they gave to all his follow-ups and leave his stamina regeneration the same. That's why. Like, literally, if they'd done that, like, Mans would just be like, and he already was relatively good at that. But the fact that it's like, okay, right, like, so many of his follow-ups now have like guard crush properties or whatever when they didn't before is nah, too early. I don't know what changes Bridget got, but I know that most of them were about mostly just making her stuff more consistent. Yeah, this is rough. Because, like... Like, I'd have to go look and see what happened with Bridget specifically, just to be sure. Because I don't know what she got. But, rock the baby. No, stop. I'm out of stamina. Oh, that's bad. That's bad. That's bad. That's bad. That's bad. That's bad. Hardtail didn't come out. So yeah, this is where like sort of the strain is, kind of, right? That doesn't work anymore. Fuck. This still does, though. Yeah. So basically, literally, what I can feel, and this is not like a bad thing necessarily, it's just what it is. Like, I can feel that basically I have to constrain a little bit more when I'm doing Sin stuff now because, like, I can't rely on, like, my stamina regenerating super quickly like it used to. Even if I don't spend that much of it. Even if I don't like spend as much of it, it still regenerates slower, which is like the part. I thought I had enough meter for RTL, and I didn't. Suck. I do now, though. So yeah, that's the main thing, right? That's why I was like, initially, I was just like, my sense of how nerfed Sin actually was really off. Because, like, Sin still does Sin damage, to be entirely clear, right? Like, the main thing with Sin's changes is that you just have to be a lot more measured about how often you go in for stamina stuff. That's really it. So his pace is a little bit slower because you have to more carefully manage your stamina because it's not going to come back as quickly, even if you don't spend as much. But are you ready? The trade-off to that is that, well, he still does Sin damage, and they didn't. It's not that his roots are gone. You just have to be like a little bit more diligent about. That's fair. Also, I don't have to spend meter. I just remembered, I don't have to spend stamina on attacks, necessarily. I can also just literally do, like, raw Gazelle... I can just do Gazelle Step off of, like... Ah, damn it. Piss off. So yeah, basically that's the main thing. Like, Sin, basically, with the way that the changes have sort of boiled down, it's just that, like, Sin just has to be more deliberate about when he uses about when he uses stamina. I should have done Tyrant Barrel there for like max damage, but unfortunate. That's fair. Okay. Overhead kiss. Overhead kiss. Oh no, it's regular throw, not overhead kiss. I got regular throw like twice. I was really expecting overhead kiss at least once, but nope, didn't happen. That I can think of anyway. Gotta be careful about that now. 6Ps are a little bit harder to land. Got the burst. The May is trying. The May's trying, and they have a pretty good idea of what it is they want to do and how. The only issue is mostly that that really is a lot of corner carry, isn't it? They might just also be taking advantage of it. Possibly. Ah, wow. Charged. Oh! Yeah, I'm gonna have to practice some of the roots again a little bit, because, like... I want to know how I was able to get... The part that's getting me a little bit is that I want to know how I was able to get Elk Hunt follow-up into Gazelle Step Farce, into Gazelle Step Close Slash. Because I feel like that's still a natural combo, but I really might have to just try to like thinking about it now. The main thing I'm thinking is that I may truly just have to start cutting that short in favor of just going directly into Let's see. It might also be that it might just be like a corner only thing. No, there it is. I can't do that. Okay, no, it just worked naturally. It's just a matter of timing, I think. Yeah. I like Elfelt still, but like I think really and truly, like realistically speaking, I'm probably in this game I'm just a Sin player. I just to be honest about it. I don't dislike Giovanna, but like I forget whether it was season 2 or season 3, one of the changes that they made in one of the previous seasons just kind of like took a lot of the fun out of playing Geo for me. Not because she like became worse or anything, but just because like the way her combo theory changed. I didn't really like it that much. It wasn't bad necessarily because Giovanna's still like a good character, I think. It's just that like some of the way that her combo structure changed was in ways that I don't really like. Can't burst out now. Get fucked. It's like basically the moment that I saw that burst meter fill while I still had full meter, I'm like, the thing is that once you use a super, like you can't burst out supers. So ooh, clean hit. Woo! I was about to say, yo, I saw taking the opponent's connection. I'm like, yo, if you actually plugged on me just because of that, I was about to say I feel a type of way about that. I was about to say like I'm not Not even for the fact that it like literally bothers me necessarily, but more like that was a choice. So yeah, like I thought that I really thought Sin was going to be in a rougher place overall, but
Move on to the next war.
alrighty. It's about 9:30, and I don't want to go to like 10 o'clock or something because that's usually when I start. That's when my ability to like play fighting games competently begins to kind of like taper off. So we're not going to push to there. But thank y'all for coming by. I appreciate it. I'll ask this question actually. This is important for people who have been here for a while. Was my stream quality notably any different? Would not bode well for prospects if you had another character get gutted by patch changes. It's happened to me before, and it will probably happen again at some point. I think realistically, even though I also like playing Elfelt, probably if you ask me like, hey, who do you really play in Strive? I'll be like, I'm a Sin player. Because like, I like Elfelt, but there are still certain aspects of her kit. Now it should be easier, but there are still certain aspects of her kit that I know I don't 100% really get my head around. Sin and I, we understand each other. So I feel like, really, right, if we are sort of at the point where realistically I never see Jam in Guilty Gear Strive, and I might not at this point, because I don't know. Like, Strive has been out for... People are like, yeah, it's probably about time for like the next Guilty Gear, and it's like, I don't know about that really. I figure because Ixard lasted for a good, and mind you, Ixard was after they got the is after Arc System Works got the license back. And they basically did Sign, Revelator. They did Sign, Revelator, and Rev 2 basically over the course of near a decade. So I don't think we're going to get like a new Guilty Gear game too soon. At minimum, if I were to just wildly ballpark, do not quote me on this because Arxis may do whatever they want. I would probably reckon that we don't get another Guilty, even like a whisper of it, for at least another 2 years. I don't think. Like another 2 years. Because my main reasoning for saying that is mostly that while we can't compare them directly, and I would not necessarily directly compare Street Fighter V's pace to Strive's pace, right? My main line of thought is mostly that it's like another 8 characters. That's me. This is me. This is just my personal opinion. Do not take this as gospel. I feel like another 8 characters is probably about the spot where they go, okay, no, the cast at like a relatively stable size, and we're good, right? I think. So when I say 8, I mean for a potential season 5 and a season 6. I think we probably have at least another 2 years because that's at least at minimum. I feel like Arxis wants to give Strive like a good 5 to 6 years. This is just me spitballing off the dome, right? A good 5 to 6 years, maybe. And it's 2021, right? It's 2021 that this game came out in. Literally like June 11th, 2021. We are only like 3 years in. I feel like this is maybe like So we're really only like 3 years in. I feel like Strive is a game that's like, yeah, IDK. The older we get, the more time it's like illusion. The more often I get surprised about how long things that were new are no longer new. Yeah, I feel like Strive is like a 5 or 6 year game. That's my personal opinion and impression. I want to say 6 because Strive itself has generally been, at least as I understand it, Strive sales figures as they stand right now are pretty much on par with. Well, no, I'd have to go double check that. Let me not say anything that is easily like verifiable. I'd have to go look up sales figures. But Strive has sold very well, is what I'm going to say instead of what I was going to say. Strive has sold well enough that I feel like ArcSys wants to support it for at least another 2 years, at minimum. I feel like before they start thinking about like a 5th Guilty Gear game. That's my impression, personally. Mostly because I feel like, because this is the thing, right? I feel like they haven't 100% nailed down that feeling of, okay, no, there isn't that much more left to add or put into this game. Like, where Rev 2 stopped was basically at about the point where it's like, they had the basic design framework of Exard for long enough that like Rev 2, they were like, okay, right, we're going to just do this, 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 and then we're good, right? I feel like the fact that like Strive has had 2 major shakeups in terms of like the way that patches work. Yes, it is. Yes. If you look at the actual logo, the I and the V in Strive are slightly less faded than the other letters. It's very much on purpose. So, funny thing about the Guilty Gear naming convention, right? So this is basically the timeline of the way that the games work. I'm not giving years right now because I can't think of that off the top of my head. But basically, if we're talking which Guilty Gear games are technically mainline entries, you have Guilty Gear, The Missing Link, Guilty Gear 2 Overture, Guilty Gear Exard, and Guilty Gear Strive. However, this is the important thing to know. The Guilty Gear X and Double X games. So I'll explain the naming behind those as like the last thing before we go. We can consider this like a mini nerd out, right? So Guilty Gear X is the immediate fighting game sequel to Guilty Gear, right? And so in Japanese, it's pronounced like the X is pronounced. It gets written as Zex, right? Then Guilty Gear X2 is pronounced as Exex. Like the way that they wrote it with katakana is Exex. So we had Guilty Gear X and X2, regardless of what version of them you're talking about, more or less, those 2 games happen between Guilty Gear and Guilty Gear 2 Overture, right? So Guilty Gear X, Guilty Gear X2 or Exex. So Zex, Exex, if you're talking like the way it's like, yeah. Or if you're talking about the way that literally, so yeah, so Exex is like I'm simplifying it grossly, but if you go look up the actual Japanese title of it and see the katakana, it's basically Exex. It's basically Exex, something like that. So Guilty Gear 2 Overture, then Guilty Gear Exard. So rather than saying Guilty Gear XXX, obvious, because you know people were going to make jokes about that, right? That's why they did Guilty Gear Xrd or Xrd, right? So they were continuing the naming theme from the Guilty Gear X games. So they did Zex, Xx, Overture, Xrd or Xrd, right? That's why they did it that way. So functionally speaking, Strive is, if you want to count it in release order, right? X, double X. So Guilty Gear, so Missing Link, X, double X. I'm including the revisions. So like things like Reload, Slash, Accent Core Plus, Accent Core Plus R. I'm not counting the revisions separately. So Guilty Gear X, Guilty Gear X2, Guilty Gear 2 Overture, Guilty Gear Xrd, Guilty Gear Strive. Technically speaking, right? So if we're talking like in terms of like the releases that quote unquote matter, really Strive is like the 6th game. But Guilty Gear X and X2 are basically considered to be side story games. You technically do not have to play X and X2 in order to understand the main thrust of Guilty Gear's story. If you really care about that kind of thing, you can play Missing Link, 2, Xrd, and Strive, and basically get the highlights of all the things that you need to know. You don't have to play X or X2. Doesn't really matter. X and X2 give you better insight into who Dizzy is, because she debuted as the final boss of Guilty Gear X, became a playable character in X2, all that other stuff. So you get a better sense of her personality and sort of like things revolving around her if you play and look into those games. But you don't have to. If you strictly speaking just play Guilty Gear, you play Missing Link, Overture, Xrd, and Strive, you more or less get the general thrust of like the way that it works. But yeah, I say all that to say, like the gap between, let me see here, Rev 2. Yeah, like Rev 2 came out in 2016. I don't think they announced Guilty Gear, and even then Sign was like late, I want to say like late 2011, early 2012 or something. So yeah, I say all that to say I think we still have like maybe like another 2, possibly 3 years of Strive before they even start thinking about announcing the next Guilty Gear title. I suspect that they are probably making plans about it, even if they're very distant and far off. But I wouldn't expect an announcement of like a new mainline Guilty Gear game for at least another 2 years, I think. I think they want to give it maybe like 2 more seasons after season 4. Like 6 seasons of content. When you had 4 characters each, it's like 24 characters. And on top of the original cast, it's like 16 or something. I don't remember off the top of my head. And I think that will be about a good number for them to be like, all right, we're good. That's my impression. That's me. That's how I feel about it. But okay. That's me. That's my thought. So, let's go find somebody to hang out with. Thank y'all for indulging me on that front. We'll be back on Sunday with more SMT Nocturne. That's 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Now that Ariel is running all of the stream stuff, right? I think we should be pretty good to go, right? So next Wednesday, we should have maybe more mystery game dev stuff going on. So we should be good to go on that one. So yeah, as a note, right? You can read my game design articles over on Medium. At some point, I'm gonna sit down and like try to figure out cities. Still trying to work that out. Stream VODs are up at youtube.com/@SHSGames. Ko-Fi, if you want to support me in the stream but don't want to give money to Amazon Jeff Bezos, you can go hit up my Ko-Fi instead. My phone has Stream Gifts. You see this nice little foam cover here on my microphone? That was a Stream gift from one of my longtime viewers, which I appreciate very much. They got it through Throne. My card has all my social media links on it. Nowadays, if you really want to catch me what I'm doing, I'm mostly on Blue Sky. If you want to know more about Munity, which is the indie game studio co-op that I helped co-found, you can go to our website at munity.games. You can join our Patreon for free or paid tier over at patreon.com/munity. If you want to play our first game, Shoot Lancer, we have a prototype up on our itch page. And last but not least, if you want to hang out with us in Gilded, you can do that. And we watch anime, we chill, I talk about like stream updates and things like that. There and other stuff that doesn't really come up here. Alright. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I got. Who are we gonna go hang out with? Let me go take a look. Who did we go visit last time? I don't remember. Oh no, the last time would have been BB Wolf, because literally the next stream after the 20th, the stream on the 24th would have. No, wait, no. I'm looking at the wrong calendar. Falls. 23. Wednesday the 23rd. Okay, so we did go to visit somebody on Sunday, and I don't remember who. I don't remember who we went to go visit on Sunday, so I'm gonna have to improvise. Alright, let's go figure it out. Let's see. You know what? It's a little different because it's not. This is normally something I do on a Sunday, but I admit that I'm curious. I'm gonna go drop you all off with Blackheart Wings. I'm gonna drop you off Blackheart Wings. Currently, let me make sure that I have this right. Okay. Currently, she is playing some Dragon Age Veilguard. So yeah, I'm gonna go drop y'all off over with her so y'all can just chill out and enjoy that. Please hit her with an SHS raids when we get over there. Let her know who sent you. Throw in your favorite emotes. They don't have to be my emotes. But yeah, it's the first time playing the Veilguard. So if you don't want to catch spoilers, you can leave now. Just remember, not the backseat. To kind of like let her do her thing. He's probably got it and figured it out. So we'll just be cool and hang out over there. Till next time I see y'all, whenever that is, stay safe. Wash your hands, wear masks, don't go outside if you don't have to. Be excellent to each other. But not to bigots, racist, terrorists, sexists, anti-queer folks, or Zionists. Remember, Black Lives Matter. Trans rights are human rights. Reproductive rights are human rights. Palestine, Sudan, the Congo, and New Caledonia must all be free. Right? Stay up. Look out for people. Look out for people in your communities. And do your best to remember, right, that people, some people are really and truly just trying to be out here doing their best. And just kind of remember who you're in community with and try not to treat them as the enemy when you all, have conflicts. That's all I really have to say. Alright, y'all. Thanks. I'll catch y'all on the flip side. See you when I see you. Deuces.